Welcome back to our Bluebirds Walk. Are we about to lose Cardiff from the Championship? Let's hope not, but there's 4 games left, and we're going to get Jamie, Tom, and James's view on what on earth needs to happen for those games. This is a really difficult conversation to have with you because I know how much you are all hurting following the Stoke results. So thank you for staying with us and thank you for joining in with us. Tom, let's start with you if that's okay. That was a must-win against Stoke. Dodgy goal, dodgy refereeing, but does it just mask again just how poor you are playing at the moment?
Yeah, I think we've said it before as well. Just you can rely on other things as much as you want, but you've got to perform yourselves. And our attacking threat on Saturday was probably some of the worst I've seen all season. I thought it was boring. I thought Stoke were a really poor side as well, and the fact that we couldn't break them down for love nor money kind of just, yeah, it just says a lot about the situation there at the minute. And the players, a few of them were working hard, Chambers working hard, O'Dowd working hard, but the overall quality is just, that's why we are probably on our way out of the Championship, because of the overall quality just isn't there. And yeah, it trickles right the way down from the top, unfortunately.
Yeah. Cheers, Jamie. I know you're at the stadium whilst we're recording this, watching the women's team are doing quite well. I believe. What did you make of the Stoke game?
It was a drab affair. I think ultimately, it was always going to be a scruffy goal that probably wins the game. Fortunately, it sums up our season. I think we probably came out on the wrong side of it. We can use all the people would say excuses we want, but again, like Tom said there, this is probably a summarised thing that comes from the top and is gradually made its way down. I think the key thing for us is this is probably not a false position. Out of the last 4 seasons, we've only had a positive finish, once, which was last year. So, yeah, I mean, again, no one wants to be in this position, but like you said there in your caption, just 4 left to go, and I'm not really optimistic, if I'm honest.
Cheers for that. Where do you put the blame, James? Is this on Tan? Is this on Riza? Is this on the players? What?
It's everyone, to be honest. It starts from the board, filters down into the management and the staff, and sort of how it's sort of set up for the games, and then players as well, because they're the ones on the pitch doing a job. So I think the whole club have got to take responsibility for this. And to be honest, this has been a long time coming, so many years towards the bottom end of the Championship, and this season there's no points deductions to save us. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, I think we're going down, and I'm just not optimistic at all that we are going to get enough points to even go into the final day having a chance, to be honest.
Tom, this was the shout from Chris on social media. Says if Reza isn't sacked immediately, then it shows the club has zero ambition. There's still points on offer. We will get 0 with him in charge. Oops. Missed you all. There's been a growing swell for this, Tom, in the last 24 hours of saying, look, get rid of him. Don't care. We haven't got. Some people are saying, I don't care. We haven't got any manager. We will do better. We'll do better without. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I think that there was a few conversations floating around on Saturday saying probably best just to get rid of him now, and then you might get that little new manager bounce, even if anybody takes over, just because whatever he's doing isn't working, and the players clearly aren't playing for him. So yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I don't think we'd be any worse without him. But also as well, you've got to look at it from the aspect that I still think even with those 4 games that we've got left, even sacking him now, I don't think we'd be able to get the points needed to stay up. I still think we need 2 wins and a draw probably, and from the last 4, I just think that's an impossible task, especially when you've got West Brom, Sheffield United, and Norwich all in that. So and then you look at even Oxford, Gary Rowett. He's an experienced Championship manager. He knows how to get the job done. I think he'll probably be able to keep them up. They've had a few good results as well, whilst we've still been lacking kind of finding the points. So yeah, I think either way it doesn't really matter. But if he does go, then we'll definitely see something change.
The games you've all highlighted there. I mean, I'll try and put a positive spin on it, Jamie. Shall I? You've already been to Sheffield United once this season and won. They are falling off a cliff in terms of their form and are not in a good place. Oxford may be safe by then, by the time they visit you on Monday, if they certainly win. Well, they won't beat Leeds on Friday, but you never know. West Brom might be the tricky one, and Norwich have got nothing to play for. So, Jamie, do you see any light at the end of this tunnel?
I think maybe it's the hope. There is a light, but it's very, very dim. It's almost like having your eyes checked, isn't it? When they ask you to squint your eye a bit. Like you said, I think me and my friends said we've been to Sheffield once. Yes, it was FA Cup and all that, whatever. But you've got to have some hope, because the way I look at it is, if I lose hope, and the players lose hope, then we may as well just put the R next to our name now. Oxford are a tricky side because, they lost against QPR the other day, but then they've gone to Hillsborough and got a clean sheet and a win. So, listen, it's the Championship. We know that. I mean, we probably play better against sides that are more open and probably have a lot of possession. So maybe that'll play into our hands. You alluded to about Sheffield United there. The fracas at the end of the game yesterday with Chris Wilder, that didn't look particularly good. Maybe me being greedy is hoping that he's probably not on the sideline on Friday. But yeah, you've got to have some sort of hope, because otherwise, if we don't, then we may as well just put R next to our name now and start planning for League One.
James, what system or formation? What or changes to the players needs to be made then? It's not working.
It's just hard to say, because anything that we're trying is just not working, and I thought, yesterday's game, that's the sort of game that we need to be winning if we want to stay up, and we've obviously lost that. And to be honest, with obviously Gary Rowett coming to Cardiff City now, he's a very experienced Championship manager. He'll know how to out tactic Omar Riza, and that's the problem. And I think that's the problem we've seen in a lot of games, is that when things ain't going right for the opposition, they change it very quickly. Like the Sheffield Wednesday game, Danny Roll changed it up very quickly, and I just don't think we can keep up with other managers' changes during the game, and that comes from experience, to be honest.
Cheers at all of you. Tom, Matt says, cheers, Vincent. This is on you. Doesn't help when the players don't give an F either. Bradford away is going to be one hell of a trip. To what extent, Tom, do you I mean, I want to get into this Vincent Tan thing a little bit more here. I mean, some might argue, well, he's kept the lights on and has backed you when needed in terms of transfer markets, but he also can't bankrupt the club either. Do you subscribe to the people's view that this is actually strip this down on him?
I think you can lay a portion of blame on him, 100%, a lot of it, because he has employed the people that have made the decisions that have eventually got us to the point we're in. When he took us over as a football club, we were in a positive, forward-thinking route, and we were almost touching the Premier League. We just couldn't quite get there. And like I said, the first 5 years, the first half a decade under him were some great years, some of the best years probably for a lot of people following Cardiff City Football Club, it's in the entire history. So I think the problem is now he's ruined any legacy or any face that he could have saved. He's ruined that now, and he's left us worse off than where he's found us, and that is the biggest problem. And a lot of the time he's made the wrong decisions by employing the wrong people, and I think this is why it's hard for a lot of us to not call for him to be gone now, because he should have probably sold up a few years ago when he was losing interest, but now it's got to a point where not only has he lost interest, like, he hasn't got the money to really fund us to take us where we need to go. And yeah, it's just the love's gone from every aspect. And I think the whole club needs change from top to bottom. And it does start with him, Dalman and Chu as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Jamie, I want to ask you that there's a couple of tweets, I haven't got them here, saying, look, relegation won't be so bad for us. It'll be a chance to reset the club, clear out all the dead wood, and go again. Do you subscribe to any of that? or the other people saying, look, relegation will be the worst thing down to Cardiff City because we aren't coming back for a good 4 or 5 years?
I think where Tom says, like, in regards to like the uncertainty of everything, I think that's where we are at the minute, is where we probably haven't got like Birmingham had last year, where they went into where they had new owners. I think there's a struggle for us to have that belief and hope. But again, like, I know a lot of people have their perceptions of everyone, and that rightly so. Will we get back up straight away? Unless the right investment's there, unless the right structure's there, I can't see it. And it is a worry for me.
Cheers, for that, Jamie. I hate to ask you for your player of the season in a second, but we are going to do that. We're going to do that regardless. Friday, then, James, off to Sheffield. You go. Is a draw any good?
Not at this stage of the season, and especially with the loss yesterday. If we'd have won yesterday, then a point would have been a decent result. We're obviously now in a stage where, a point is not good enough. Plymouth as well, they picked up 3 points, so they're right back in it. And I just don't see where we go from here, to be honest. I've got no hope for the rest of the season, to be honest.
Do any of you suspect that you'll wake up on Monday morning and see that there'll be a club statement, or is that's just not happening now?
No, not now. I said earlier, with the club, Tan would rather, keep Riza in charge because he's the one that wanted to keep him there than to be proven wrong, and that's how stubborn he is. And he'd rather see, Cardiff City in this state than being proven wrong.
Okay, all right. We'll all genuinely keep our fingers crossed. I just can't see how Cardiff could be in League One. It just doesn't compute. It's too big of a club for that division. But someone's got to go down, and unfortunately, it's always that team, isn't it? That at the end of the season has just not scored enough goals, and that's Tom. Essentially, we have to look back at the season. I mean, defensively, you're not that bad apart from at Leeds, but scoring goals, it's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long-standing thing as well, and it partners with the defensive side as well. Man, we haven't been set up right all season, but it's if you can't score goals, as you say, you go down. And we found Salah, and we thought we brought him in. We thought, here we go. Here is somebody that can score goals, and I feel like he can, but also then you also need the right manager. And I do genuinely think if we had the right manager, and if we would have sacked Reza after we lost to Oxford, we probably would have been in a better position now, because a decent manager or an experienced championship manager wouldn't have us in this position. I don't think the squad of players are that good, are that bad, sorry. But I just think it's too little too late. But we'll see now over the next few games whether we can get a few goals. But it's also keeping them out. And we're playing 3 sides as well that are pretty good at scoring goals, and they're all up in the end of the division. So,
okay, all right. We're going to ask you for your player of the season now, if you can find one. Jamie, who definitely deserves this award?
Personally, I think just for the fact he leaves everything out on the pitch and he doesn't come off with anything less than 100% is Callum O'Dowda. Recently, obviously, he's taken the armband, and you can see that he really, really does care. I think Callum O'Dowda, if we had a team of Callum O'Dowdas, then we wouldn't be in the position that we're in. There are a few probably other noticeable players, but again, when you're down where we are, picking players of the season feels like an irrelevant subject, doesn't it?
It really does, and I hate to ask it. James?
I'm going to go for Andy Renomota. He's been quite decent, to be fair.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with James on that. I think, as Jamie said, from the quality side, we can't really look at anyone because no one's offered that quality. So then you go to the next phase, and who works their arse off week in, week out. And Callum O'Dowda is one of those. But for me, Andy Renomota always gives it everything. I think he had a stormer of a game after he lost his brother the other day as well. And when you're in a relegation fight, I think those are the players that you do want. It's just a shame that we don't have a whole side of people with the same size heart as he does at the minute. So yeah, I'd give it to Andy Rinomhota.
All right, Brill. Thank you very much. Let us know in the comments who you would give it to as well. We're also doing things a little bit differently, and then we're also asking you as a group to award the player from any other side that has impressed you the most this season. Which one player, either defensively or in attackers, you'd love to have in your side? Jamie, you think have you been to every away game? Have you missed any this season?
One, and that was because my sister got married. So that was my first game in 3.5 years. Listen,
God,
can't say, yeah, if you've got to keep the family happy, haven't you?
Absolutely.
It's a tough one because there have been, again, you look at stats and you'd have to say, as much as I hate to say it, Dan James has been phenomenal. He almost carries that lead side in transition. When we went up there, he tore us a new one, and I hate to say that because of his current club and his former club are ones that we strongly hate. I think let's say somebody like, let's say, Jaden Anthony. I think he probably goes underrated a little bit because Burnley aren't the most, let's say, attacking and pleasing on the eye side, but he has scored a few goals. So on that basis, I'm just going to go Jaden Anthony. I'm not going to give it to Dan James because I can't stomach doing that. That'd be a blow, wouldn't it? Be kicking me while I'm down. So yeah, give it to Jaden Anthony, and again, let's see how the season unfolds.
Okay, James.
Yeah, similar to what Jamie said, I'm going to go for Ao Tanaka. He's overall a very, very good quality Championship player, and yeah, he's had a standout season. He's had a lot of mentions by a lot of people.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Sorry, Jamie. I'm gonna have to go for Dan James. I think he's been fantastic this season for Leeds, and he's just shown that he is a quality above. I think he's a Premier League player playing in the Championship for a season, and yeah, just that overall Leeds side as well. The amount of quality they've got. I think the difference between them and us, you look at that, and it's a stark contrast, and that's why they are where they are. That's why we are where we are.
All right. Cheers for your honesty. As difficult as that was